Yo, what's happening? This Cutta Classic. You tuned in to ScumRadio.
Who we got in the spot tonight?
It's Cutta Classic, bro.
How you get your name?
Cutta Classic. Man, I started off as YC, Young Chris, and my brothers and my mentors. They just gave me the name Cutta Classic, for various reasons. So I've been, it just stuck. It stuck to me, and that's how I've been operating under Cutta Classic.
Okay. Where you from?
Oklahoma City.
Okay. Tell everybody what you do.
I'm a producer. I'm a engineer, mixing and mastering engineer. Well, I like to say I'm a builder. You know, I like helping people. I like building people, not building people as I like helping them build on their careers, helping them build in their lifestyle, their life in a positive way.
No, for sure. How you getting to making music?
I was born into music, bro. So my family, my mother, my dad, my sisters, growing up in the church. So that's music is just second nature. So I've been doing music all my life.
Do you feel like it's a disconnect between newer like R&B singers and church?
Uh, I can see how it could be perceived as a disconnect because a lot of singers started in the church, and there's a lot of singers nowadays that ain't never stepped in the church, so they ain't had to go through them woodshedded hours and get that discipline. You at church 3 or 4 times a week rehearsing, and you got to do it over and over again. The the music director or the choir director, you may get cussed out in church if we ain't getting it right. So I think that's a lot of the difference because now everybody they just kind of a lot of people just learning from YouTube and the way technology has made it to where we can just throw auto tune or waves tune on your vocal. You ain't really had to go through that seasoning and that uh, just the whole discipline of it. So yeah.
So like you've been in the game for a little minute, right?
Yeah, I'm about a little bit over 20 years in.
So do you ever like work with analog gear?
Yep.
So do you like analog or digital better?
I have a better appreciation for analog because of just having to learn the techniques. You really had to dig off in the analog and learn your craft. In and out. You couldn't really have step it with analog. And like with analog, it's something about the tape, and I've heard other people talk about it, but when I go back and listen, like some of the old stuff out there, you can actually hear the vibe in the room, the essence in the, just the energy in the record. So that's what I like about analog. Digital, I think you can still get some of those elements. I like the timing factor of digital. So even now I still use both. I still do some analog. I combine the analog with the digital because I think it just get for me it just gives it a sound, a feel that you just can't buy.
What's your favorite type of music to like make like to record?
Uh,
Like
Tariq.
like what's your favorite? Like do you like rappers? Do you like singers? Do you like country? Like do you
Man,
like
man, I'm just a music dude. So I don't care what, as long as it's dope. I don't care if it's hip hop, R&B, country, EDM, pop, you name it. If it's dope, if I can vibe to it, I want to do it. You know what I'm
who are some of your musical influences growing up?
saying? I would say first it would probably be my mother. She's part of a gospel group called the Gospel Truth. I used to tour. I used to go on their many tours as a child. So that was probably my first influence. And then when I really got into studying records and stuff and just digging through the crates, I would say um, Dr. Dre, Timbaland, and if I even want to back it up before then, I would say like a Quincy Jones, Marvin Gaye, Parliament Funkadelic, and it just grew from there. DJ Quicks, your Battle Cats, Manny Freshers, DJ Toon, uh, Mike Dean, Mr. Lee. So I listen to a little bit of everything. So I'm influenced by a lot of the greats.
Did you learn to engineer from school or on your own?
No, man, I didn't go to school for it. I tried to go to school. Um, I tried to go. Yeah, I tried to go to school for it, and I ended up doing like a consultation to go to try to enroll in school because I felt like I needed to just some train or the credentials or whatever. And I've actually met with one of the professors, and he was like, "Man, we'll take your money, but you already doing this at a certain level, and you working with all these different art." He said, "You just need to move around more and get out of that city, get out of Oklahoma City, and travel, and just go work. You already doing it. It really didn't make sense." So to me, it was like, well, damn, okay. So if I go to school, yeah, I'm gonna go spend all this money, but maybe he's right. Maybe I just need to move around, network more, and just go rock around in different studios throughout the states, and just build my network up, and then just learn that way. Just learn the craft as I go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I've been doing over the past, like I said, a little bit over 20 years. I walked in my first studio at 11, and shoot, I seen my mentor at the time turning knobs, and I was just like, man, that's what I'm doing, and I ain't look back.
No, for sure. What's a piece of advice you'll go back and give your younger self? And what age would you go to?
I would say I would probably go back to probably when I was like 15. Just be patient with myself. Be patient with yourself, and don't be afraid to don't be afraid to just fail. Sometimes I felt like when I look back, I took there's a lot of stuff I didn't do because I didn't feel like I was ready, and I wanted to make sure I was on top of my game. I never wanted to walk in the room and somebody be able to tell me, no, that ain't it, or huh, you don't know what you're doing. So I would be overcritical of myself and not take those chances, not realizing that this business is not about perfection. It's not about who's the most talented. It's about your consistency. Can you come in and add value? Everybody in this game fucks up at some point, but can you be consistent? Can you show up every day and get the job done? That was a good question. Ain't nobody ever asked me that one.
Give me some studio etiquette.
Studio etiquette,
Give me like a couple of them. Some do's and don'ts in the studio.
some do's and don'ts. First thing, if you're gonna be in the room, add value, be creative, don't be a distraction. That's that's the biggest one. Just don't be a distraction. Don't take away from the vibe. If you're having a bad day, leave your personal shit at the door or put that shit into the song. Other than that, and try not to come in too motherfucking high to where you can't work. Cause we wasting each other's time at that point. So yeah.
Who believed in you before anyone else?
Um I believed in myself. I believed in myself. But I think I knew I had what it takes. I knew I was talented and I was gonna work for it. But I think there were several people that seen that I had that I believed in myself, and then it, they wanted to help. I think that's a lot of it. What they say, people are willing to help you when they see that you're willing to help yourself. So, like my oldest brother, he was like one of the first people that seen that I what I was doing. He was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put some. So he started bringing different people around me to expose me to different things, and from there, those people started believing. They started seeing the same thing that he seen, and so I was all somebody always took me and put me around somebody else that I could learn from or network or level up with.
That is dope. If you never made another dollar off of music, would you still make it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't do music.
I mean, you know, like as an engineer, because from an engineer to an engineer, would you still do it?
Well, as an engineer, just recording people, yeah, I would have to really believe in the artist. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to just mixing stuff, that's just a craft I love to do. So again, it would take I can mix all day long. I can create music and mix and do and somebody can send me something all day long. I prefer not to do it without making some money. So, but if I had to, regardless, I'm gonna make music, regardless if I get paid for it or not. I think when it comes to just straight engineering somebody or somebody coming in and I'm happy to put my time into it, I have to really believe in the situation if I'm choosing to pass on like an upfront advancement or some money, and I just collect on the back end or whatever. So uh, I ain't crossed that bridge yet. We'll see where it gets.
What you doing when you're not like in the studio recording?
Usually, when am I not? I mean, I'm usually on the grill. That's kind of like my piece. I'm either watching sports or I'm on the grill or I'm just just kind of chilling. I may just be listening to records, listening to old school vinyl, and just kind of vibing and spending time with the fam. You know, shit. That's all. That's a big thing for me. Is in this business, you don't you sacrifice a lot of that time spending it with the family. So now I'm at a point to where like if I'm not gonna be doing this, I definitely want to be spending it with my family.
What's a job you had that you walked out and never went back?
Call center. I had to make a choice. I remember I was working at this call center, and the artist I was working with, he was just about to go on like a 6 or 7 city tour or something like that. And I asked my manager, can I take off? And he had been in the business. He had been in the music business a little bit too, so he understood what it was. He's like, "Nah, you can't take off. So you got to make a decision." So I was like, "All right." I went to lunch. I came back. I said, "I'm going on tour. I'm clocking out now." He's like, "I understand," and I ain't looked back. That was my last job I had. I was probably 17, 18 years old. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same for me too, though. Same for me too. I ain't had many jobs. After I really picked up on engineering, I never had another one. So I feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give me your top five engineers
Top five engineers.
that you
Okay.
did?
I would say
Let's make it engineers and producers. Let's do that. Because I just went kind of blank too. After I'd said
uh,
like three.
so I would say Dr. Dre.
That was one of them.
I would say Probably, and this ain't no particular. 'Cause this changes. I know I'm gonna leave somebody out because this. I think this changes every couple years. So Dr. Dre, Mike Dean, um, Jason Joshua, real dope, real dope. Um, that's three. Mm. Who producer slash engineer? Teddy Riley.
Ooh.
Yeah, Teddy Riley, real dope. And it may be. Mm, I'm gonna take my time on this one. Who was it? For real.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna play a game. It's gonna be this or that.
Okay.
All right. Punch in or freestyle.
Punch in.
Stacks or just one track.
That depends. That depends. What am I doing?
Rapper. It's easiest for single. You're gonna say stacks. Just a rapper.
Rapper. One track. One track.
Mac or Windows.
Mac.
YouTube beats or custom beats.
Custom.
Independent or major.
Independent.
Old school, new wave.
Mm. Old school.
Recording booth or record next to you.
Next to me. Next to me. That's a
Stems or two track.
stems.
Do you believe in boosting sound or taking away? Do you believe more in subtractive or more in boosting?
More in subtracting. Mm-hmm.
If you could pick an artist to do an album with, who would you pick? So you engineer and produce the whole album.
Well, I'm already working with him. That's Gorilla Zoe. Outside of that, um, Tip.
Okay. How did you and Zoe start working?
So I contribute that to a lot of the coalition DJs. Um, I want to say it was the 15th, the third. It was about 4 years ago at the coalition DJs anniversary, and um, some of the DJs I got, I work with all the time, DJ3, Vegas Tegas, they introduced me to Zoe. We was all meeting in the lobby of the hotel. They introduced me to him, and I didn't know really what was going to become of that. It was just a formal deal. So, um, we chopped it up a couple times a day, And then they was like, make sure you get him some tracks. And so I ended up sending him like a pack of, like a 10 pack. And from my understanding, Zoe wasn't really making no music no more. He was kind of like done with just done with it. And maybe 2 weeks later after that, he called me, FaceTime. He was like, "Yo, I ain't been inspired to do no music." He said, "With the stuff I just heard from you," he said, "Hey, I'm flying out there to you." About the next week, he was at the studio with me, and we cutting our first record together.
You remember the name of that song?
That was called, yeah, that was called Fall. hmm Fall. I actually, yeah, I remember because I had to go. They said they wanted to sample one of my favorite movies growing up, The Lost Boys. So that just even made it even more special to me because I had always listened to the soundtrack of that movie, so I knew exactly how I was really going to attack that once I heard it.
What's some of your favorite go to VSTs?
Uh, all of the Spectrasonic stuff, Omnisphere, Keyscape, Trillion. You know, them libraries get updated every couple weeks, so that's pretty a go to. Uh, right now, Cradle. That's a good go to. And then I'm doing a lot of stuff in the Rolling Cloud, using some of them classic sounds and adding different steam engines and effects to them, just kind of tweak them a little bit. But Rolling Cloud, they doing their thing with even modifying some of those sounds.
Okay. What's your go to setup in the studio? Like what's some things you need in the studio?
My laptop, a mouse, a microphone, and a keyboard.
Does it matter what microphone? What interface?
Sony C800 or U87. It's my preferred ones, but I also like a C14. Uh, depending, it really just kind of depend on the voice and what I'm actually working on. So it's a lot of different mics that I got that I go to. Sometimes I use the Telefunken. Sometimes I may use the Manley, but it just depends on what the vocal is, what the song is called for. So I may set up two or three different mics and just try it on that one, try it on that mic, and then the one that sounds the best, that's the one I go with. Um, yeah, yeah, that's all I need. I don't need a lot.
What's
Some
some
headphones.
Oh, most definitely. What's some advice you can give an up and coming engineer that wants to go full time?
Don't want to go full time.
Yep. Quit the 9 to 5 and go full time engineer.
Accept the good with the bad. It's ups and downs. It's gonna feel dark, and some days it's gonna feel real good. You just gotta be willing to go through it all and enjoy it. Don't burn yourself out, because I didn't burn myself out several times just going super hard. Not even thinking. Take the time. It's okay to sleep. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take days just to reset.
For sure. If somebody was trying to book a session or matter of fact, what's next? What's next for Cutta Classic? What's next?
So right now I'm in the middle of, man, I got it's a lot. Like I said, I'm building a lot of different things right now. I'm in the middle of reopening my facility in Oklahoma City. I'm also launching a new website called the Vision Academy, where it's like a subscription membership based thing for people that excuse me, if you can't get to Oklahoma City, you can also deal with me online. Um, you know, continuing to redevelop, Zoe sound. And, a lot of people, say I'm the manager. I don't like calling myself the manager. I'm more so, I wear whatever hat I need to wear for the project to get, for us to get the job done. So I guess that goes from across the board with any project I'm working on. Um, whatever hat I need to wear, and if I'm working with you, if we in the same network, I'm willing to wear it.
If somebody wanted to reach you to book a session or just lock in with you, where they can find you at? Like what social media?
Cuttaclassicinfo at gmail.com, at cutter underscore classic on Instagram. Same thing as TikTok, Facebook, it's across the board. Just type in Cutter Classic. You're going to see me there doing something in the studio. That's how you get at me.
Okay. Just like that, we gone.